All right, here we go. Hey, what's up, everyone? AJ Writes Crypto coming to you Monday, January 29th, here from kind of near sort of somewhere by Atlanta, Georgia. Had a killer weekend. Hope everyone out there had a safe, fun weekend as well. Friday night, went and saw one of my favorite pop punk bands in the world, Neck Deep. Big shout out to Neck Deep, mate. One of the best pop punk bands to ever do it. Also saw one of my favorite hardcore bands, Drain. They threw it down. Really good time at the show. I love, I want to go to more shows. That was like my previous life. But it is always good to go see the heavy hitters. So definitely shout out to Neck Deep, shout out to Dre, and shout out to the other bands. It was a really good time. Saturday, we kind of took the day off, kind of unplugged, didn't tweet, didn't do anything Saturday. It was actually really nice to take a day off. And then Sunday, watched some football, got some work done. Got the Algorand price prediction out, coming out today. I wanted to get it out yesterday. Kind of had some problems with the edit. Didn't want to put out half produced material. So, gotta put quality over time. Quality comes first. Has to come first. Especially, with having a newer channel like this, got to set a standard. So, it's all good if I, sometime, I'm going to try to say, if I wanted to come out Sunday, I'm going to try like hell to get it out Sunday. But, at the same time, it's one of those things like, this isn't right. So got to try again. And that's the deal, so no big deal. That's going to come out today. No problem. Ken and Hinton. Hey, did you hear Neck Deep's new album? Yes. This song, We Need More Bricks, is definitely the winner on that album for sure. So Iceman King Parsons asked, is your new algo price prediction for algo more bullish now? Question mark. I don't know, man. I guess you're going to have to watch it and find out. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got Ken and Hinton, Danny H, Psycho Marsh, the Glitter Queen, my head moderator. We got Brian Bootyhead, Splashing and Smashing, Maurice Guy, Raph. Awesome. But yeah, so as you can see, everybody, we are back at the 10:30 a.m. slot. I kind of felt like the 11 o'clock just wasn't working out like I wanted it to. Like I wanted 11. I wanted to go a little later, obviously, for the West Coast people. Basically, I felt like I was doing myself a disservice because I do roundtable a lot at noon, and I was constantly having to cut the show early to do that show. And I also felt unprepared for the roundtable space because I didn't have any time to look over the agenda and stuff like that. Right. So, I think going back to 10:30 works out. And because I'm adding an additional live stream starting February. So basically starting next week, I'm going to have an additional show probably once or twice a week. That's just trading. It's not like a formatted like this. It's not like, there will be TA involved, obviously, but it's, just a trading show with like less news and all the things like that. So I think, I'll do that show later in the day. So the West Coast people have a live stream too. So, that's kind of the main reason I moved to 11, but it just didn't work. And I think getting an earlier start is better for a lot of people anyway. So awesome. So I do appreciate everybody here. We've got over 110 people in the house already this Monday morning. Make sure you smash the like button if you haven't already. And let's get into the show a little bit here. Let me pull up my other tab. That's not the right tab. Where's the other tab? Where did you go? Okay, there it is. There's my little friend. All right, let me click this bad boy. Let's do a quick little brief overview of the market, and we will go from there. Share screen. Okay, bang. There we go. I don't like that one. I like this one. Okay, cool. Let me get a fresh refresh here on CoinGecko. All right, so Bitcoin. Wow, we refreshed and it went just above 42,000. That adds up. That adds up. That aligns with the thought of the TA I did this morning. I looked at charts for like an hour or two this morning just to really like kind of get a solid grasp on what I'm seeing, like what I'm going to buy, if I'm not going to buy. So definitely. Needed to spend a good amount of time with my charts this morning. So I'm glad I did that. And that aligns, everything kind of moving up a little bit right now. Solana, moving back to 100. I think a trade just to get Solana back to 100 from 96.6. I think that's a very easy trade with an easy target, easy leverage. I think that's a sure win, longing Solana back to 100. XRP at 52, Cardano at 48, Avalanche up a little bit, 35. Love to see it. Chainlink still under 15. I think anytime you can buy Chainlink under 15, that's a win. Big old W. Dub. I can't see the chat from where I am here. Awesome. Blah, 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 blah. AI coins portfolio when? Well, I am doing a second portfolio that is probably going to come out this week, but it won't. There will be AI coins in it, but it's not going to be just AI coins. ICP 1213, Injective 37.7 up 11% on the week. Near Protocol 288. I mean, Near, that's definitely one I'm going to be targeting here for sure. VeChain 2.8. I think VeChain. I've been talking of VeChain for a long time. There's a reason, big old reason. Render 406, Quant 105, the graph 15, insane buy opportunity for the graph at 15, and then of course Algorand at 16. And I'm telling you guys, like talking charts, the fact that Algorand, man, I've been talking about the 16-cent support resistance level for Algorand. Oh, you guys can't see it. There it is, 16.35. I mean, I've been talking about the 16-cent support resistance level for Algorand for a long time. There are levels on certain charts that the price will kind of gravitate back to it, like Quant with 100, like put Solana with 100, and Algorand, that number has been 16 cents. And when it was 8 cents, 12 cents, I thought to myself, well, if you look at the volume profile and realize that there's a lot of volume at 20 to 25 cents, that with the big SR at 16, that if it hits 16 and if it can break 16, it's going to rip. And that's exactly what Algorand did. It was based off an idea of a bullish div on the 5-day chart when Algorand was at 9 or 10 cents. And then, I went long a little bit before the break, but regardless, we got to 16 cents. And once it hit 16 cents, boom, as predicted. So, and then it topped off like Christmas, the week of Christmas. And then Algorand came back down, to 16 cents. And if you look at the chart here, I do have this one pulled up already. Algorand's in a really interesting spot right now. Let me share this tab instead. Okay, so you look at the setup. All right, we'll go to the daily and kind of tell the story, right? So here is the 16-cent level, this yellow line right here. Let me change the color of these ones so things don't get too confusing. I'll make these white. Okay, boom. So, here's back here was when the bull div happened on the 5-day. October moving into December, we went from 9 cents all the way to 16. And if you look at the volume profile here, so we do have volume up here 24, kind of a gap to 20 cents, and then sort of a bigger gap. And then obviously this is the visible range volume profile. So when you see a visible range volume profile, it's actually going all the way to what it can see. The visible range, right now, that is the visible range. Why the point of control is all the way back down there at the previous value area. But if you kind of zoom it on over here into the visible range of the chart, it will recalibrate. See, like that. So I would say that, the point of control being around 13 cents does make sense. But at the same time, look at how Algorand is putting up a fight at the 16-cent level. That 16-cent support resistance level, I'm hoping that this hold the door. That's what we're doing here at the 16-cent level. If we go into the 2-hour chart and zoom in, you did not mean to draw that. You will see that Algorand is in this, kind of downtrend, starting from the week of Christmas, right? From when its local top, it came down. We actually did momentarily lose the level, but this happens. I feel like when this happens, it doesn't invalidate the support resistance, because you can see that it tested it. Right here, we lost it, and then everything since then has been a retest of that level. Okay, to be fair. So yeah, on the 2-hour chart, it actually is showing it pushing down, even with the RSI coming down the oscillator on the 2-hour. But it's not the end of the world. And here's the thing: is that if you consider the support resistance line and you consider the local downtrend here, I mean, Algorand, the point of intersection between the downtrend and the SR line is Wednesday. So by Wednesday, we will know if Algorand is going to lose the support resistance level or break out of its local downtrend. So, and that is really big. That is very, very, very big news. It's also putting up a little fight on the 2-hour here with the EMA. And if we zoom in a little bit harder, say like a 17-minute chart, something like that, it doesn't look nearly as bearish as it does on the 2-hour. And actually, for all you level traders out there, if you kind of want to draw this little line across here, kind of a double bottom idea at 1624 and set an alarm at 1624, because then you'll know if it loses that local low. I feel like if it loses the local low, that little level right there, then the odds of it, coming to 16 actually increases those odds a little bit. But if it kind of double bottoms off of this level here, we kind of got a little bit higher chance of it breaking out, and that's obviously what we're looking for. So definitely keep a close eye on that. I would definitely, I'm going to set an alarm right here for sure. Let me set that. Boom, one per bar. Create. All right, there we go. So I'm actually going to draw it over to the trend line itself, because now we'll know. And we also set an alarm on the trend line, right? Because if it breaks out of that trend line, we want to know. So what we did is we drew an alarm on that previous low right here, because if it breaks down out of that low, we'll know. And if it breaks down out of the trend line, we'll know, because we don't guess, we don't predict, we react. So I gave myself a chance. I'm giving myself a chance to react to the price action, and that is how we trade. All right, so not bad. There we go. Good start to the stream. Wanted to get that out of the way. Checking in on the chat really fast. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you guys. Thanks for being here. We got Karen Harris in the chat. Brian Bootyhead. Every day I'll go not. Smash the like button if you want Algorand to pump. Hell yeah. Oh man. Yeah, Algorand, man. So that Stacy hack, that was rough. That was a bummer to see that, to be honest. I actually really like Stacy. She's really nice. Like she's a really nice woman. She's strong. She means well. She does a really good job, and it was just a bummer to see that. The hackers are so ruthless, man, but that is a part of the space, and I feel like I think they got the account back under the control and stuff like that. Connor, the price predictions coming out today. But yeah, we live and we learn. Stuff like that happens. It's crypto, man. It's crypto. At least I hope no one got financially hurt from it or anything like that. So, all right, gonna run over some stories here. Saw some kind of interesting stuff this morning when I was wait, can you please look at Solana when you have a chance? Yeah, I'll definitely look at Solana in the show. I already have it pulled up actually. Few interesting Ripple XRP predictions to watch. I think a couple of the websites were saying Changeling. This is a site that actually doesn't do a bad job doing ranges for price predictions. It's actually quite optimistic for the long term, setting tags of 125, 184, and 270 for the next 3 years. I think that could be a little low, but I do understand why they're only giving it that level. I think a lot of people are looking for more like a $4 or $5 XRP, and they're kind of shooting down to 125, 184. And I understand that, because if you really think about just XRP in general and how large its market cap already is, we go to actual here, so we're already looking at a $28.5 billion, and the tokenomics situation with XRP is super confusing. And as you can see, only 54% of the supply is in circulation, and the way they do it is that they have this escrow account where they're supposed to put out 1 billion coins every month or something like that, but except they don't put them out. They put them out, but then they pull a lot of them back into a separate escrow account, and how they figure out how many gets pulled back not really sure how they determine that. That it's kind of this little fuzzy area. So with only a 54% supply in circulating in the total supply, XRP does kind of have a long ways to go in terms of their vesting schedule. But at the same time, everyone wants to be in XRP, and I think even when your friend's grandma and a lot of older people think XRP is the future, and I understand that, but we still kind of have to temper our expectations in terms of all right, what can actually happen here? Because even if you kind of go off the prediction that Changeling put up with the 126 XRP, that would still require a $68.5 billion market cap with an upside of 141%. That doesn't seem too crazy. Even if you go to 186. Wait, what was the other price prediction they said? They said 184, excuse me. 184. Oops. Yes, so this would 184 would require exactly $100 billion market cap with 252%, and that kind of adds up, So definitely, I always like appreciating what other people's price predictions are and kind of running the numbers on what they're going for here. I think if XRP went to 100 billion this run, that would be impressive, considering we're sitting at 28.5 right now. Big shout out to Sage Highguard in the chat. Hilarious. Good to see you, Sage. What's going on? All right. So let's go back here. Another little XRP article from Crypto Potato. Crypto Potato is actually a pretty good and a little news, news, crypto news website. I check it out from time to time. Sometimes they got some killer articles. I feel like they've been hot and cold, but today they came correct today, and I appreciate that. So 7 signs XRP could explode in 2024. So basically, just going over, the SEC lawsuit is on its last leg. There's no secret with that, especially with Judge Annalisa Torres, basically saying that XRP sold in the secondary markets, not securities, and the SEC losing its appeal of that decision. That is a good start. I mean, it actually has regulation, so that's amazing. XRP global partnerships growing. Love to see that, because I mean that's been happening with a lot of projects, but especially with XRP. Supply design, and XRP price. Sorry, what does this say? Like Bitcoin, but unlike Ethereum and Doge, Ripple has a hard supply cap of 10 million. Every Ripple token will be issued. Okay, this is interesting. Every Ripple token will be issued by May of 2027 if all that goes to plan. By May of 2027. And let's remember, everybody, XRP only has 54% of the total supply in circulation. So what does that mean? That means that that other 45.6 billion coins is likely to come into circulation, as long as everything goes to plan, by May of 2027. That's crazy. That doesn't really make me want to hold XRP. I'm not gonna lie. That's the kind of tokenomic shit that I'm like, no, go. Even if you look at the graph is like a perfect tokenomic situation to explain, because I like the graph now. Now at this point in time, the graph has a very friendly tokenomic situation. But if you held the graph in 2021, and say you're one of those people that bought the graph in 21 and rode to the bottom and are still holding, that's so unfortunate, because its supply like tripled in like 8 months or something. And it's something, I forget the exact number, but it's gross how much the supply went up. So you do always want to keep a close eye on the coins you're in, if they're tokenomic friendly situations, or if it is a kind of questionable vesting schedule. And when you see, stories like this here, saying that, all the XRP is going to be in circulation, if it all goes to plan by May 27, I actually kind of feel like it won't take that long. I feel like it'll take longer because of the way they do the escrow plan and they pull it back so much. So hopefully it doesn't come in that fast. I mean, Crypto Soul has a good point. He says, why care about the market cap now when years from now trillions will enter the market cap? I mean, because I'm a trader. That's the answer to that question. Because, do I have a long-term bag? Of course I have a long-term bag. But at the end of the day, like, I'm a trader. So, when you're scalping the market and you're looking at the short term, this stuff 100% matters. Even if you're looking at like a 6 to 12 month time frame, that matters. So, if you want to just buy and hold and wait, that's okay. That's totally fine. But at the same time, this is definitely worth paying attention to. Chauncey Peppertooth, shout out to the best name on YouTube. And I have to agree, my guy Chauncey Peppertooth, best name on YouTube for sure. All right, so let's keep the ball rolling here. So let's circle back to the rest of this XRP article here. XRP price does not reflect XRPL's value fair. XRP average transaction fee super cheap. The Ripple IPO could happen in 2024. That's debatable, and the halving cycle working to our advantage as well. So yeah, man, definitely a lot of good narratives here for XRP for sure. I have a bag of XRP. It's not as big as my other bags, but I still have exposure. It's pretty significant exposure, but it's nothing like crazy, but definitely shout out to the XRP Army. Make sure you put the X down below in the chat if you are a member of the XRP Army, and definitely, looking like some upsides here. I do, always kind of take into account like the type of price predictions. A lot of people are shooting a little bit lower, $1.25, $1.84, $2.70. Let me double check. I forget the exact number I called. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, when I did my price prediction for XRP, I did say $6 to $11 at that time. To be fair, though, I was going to say a lot smaller, but Ben's XRP price prediction is like dude, it's like 11 to 20. And I was just like, I can't say $4 if he's saying 11 till 20. So, it's definitely 6 to 11. That's definitely going to be one I circle back on for sure. I think a $6 XRP is possible. But I don't know. I think $6 is like massive bull scenario, to be completely honest with you. But I kind of see why I said that at the same time. Ricky Burris, let's smell all that two-stroke and get rich with AJ. Hey, let's get it. Shout out to all you two-stroke racers out there. All right, so let's keep the ball rolling here. Blah 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 blah. This is a pretty interesting article I saw in Crypto Potato this morning as well. Oh, of course, I just X out of it like a jackass. All right, bang, 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 bang. All right, roughly 70% of crypto communications violate FINRA rules. The United States Financial Industry Regulation Authority, God, that's a mouthful, or FINRA, has revealed about 70% of retail communications concerning cryptocurrencies violate its rule of misleading claims. So according to an official report, there's the link right there, FINRA identified communications that failed to provide sound bases for evaluating digital assets by excluding explanations on how they are issued, held, transferred, and sold. So, definitely this is one of those articles that's like, okay, yeah, so what? And you know why? Because like these rules suck and the rule book needs to be rewritten. And I feel like there is a lot of transparency in crypto, but like the definition of transparency from our end and the definition of like what these people are looking for is like a little crazy, to be honest with you. I feel like stuff like this is why we need much more clarity than we do. But I kind of feel like the battle for clarity is clouded by the people who just don't want anything to do with it. For instance, political divide in the U.S. as 30 senators oppose crypto and 18 senators support it. To be honest with you, I'm glad that we already have 18. That's how I'm seeing this. I don't see it as in like the battle for crypto is going to go down in the Senate or anything like that. So here, basically, of course, Elizabeth Warren, the leader of the anti-crypto army. So Coinbase's nonprofit advocacy group Stand With Crypto shows 18 U.S. senators support crypto, with most of these supporters being Republicans like Cynthia Lummis, Ted Burr, who are actively pushing for crypto-friendly laws. Big shout out to Cynthia Lummis. Heard her speak at Bitcoin Miami. Oh my God, the mods just took over the chat. Jeez, guys, let everybody else breathe too. Yeah, so okay, here it is. It was also revealed that 30 senators oppose cryptocurrency. This senators consist of 23 Democrats, 5 Republicans, and 2 independents. Why do 5 Republicans oppose crypto? Who are the 5 Republicans that oppose crypto? That's what we should do. We should figure out which 5 Republicans oppose crypto and write strongly worded letters and say, hey, don't you know which side of the aisle you're on? Get on the right side of the aisle, you dumb. So it's definitely interesting. I mean, the political divide in the U.S. Senate shows uncertainty about crypto. But to be honest, like I don't think we like need majority in the Senate for friendly regulation or anything like that, because it's not like anything's like happening right now, like in terms of like voting. But at the same time, I feel like that we've made a lot of progress, and the fact that we already have 18 senators on our side. That's 18 more than we had a couple of years ago, so I feel like there will be a lot of FUD. I mean, here, this is what I've been building to here, is that it's an election year, right? And there is a lot of bullshit, a lot of lies, a lot of the media just purposely, clouding the truth, purposely riling people up, purposely, they want us to clash. That's what they want. That's by design, because if they can get people emotional and get them feeling like that, that'll translate to more voting. So there will be, and obviously because crypto is a definitely hot button issue for politics now. I mean, crypto has never been talked about this much in politics ever. I've been around for a while, and this is the most it's been. And I think because of that, we are consequently going to see much more crypto FUD leading into the election, because it's pretty obvious. I'm not going to get all political on you guys, but I am going to say that the Democrats are anti-crypto and the Republicans are not, for the most part. And that's definitely, you have to say that at the end, for the most part. But it is that cut and dry. It really is. And obviously the Democrats are going to push against, the drug kingpins and the money launderers and blah, 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 blah. They're going to say all that shit. So I just do want you to be aware of the fact that, as we kind of get into this year here, we're almost in February already. As we kind of creep week by week by week by week, we are going to see a lot of bullshit. And that's a part of the game. It really is. So I do just wanted to be aware of that. Want you guys to be aware of that, because sometimes, I kind of will go through a lot of stories and see the FUD and see like the narrative around it, especially like when basically Elizabeth Warren's job is to jump up and down and scream and yell about crypto. So people see. So even if what she's saying is BS, or even if what she's saying, doesn't really become anything, the fact that there is another headline about Elizabeth Warren being, against crypto, that's all that matters. It's not really about if there's anything tangible, or if there's anything real in the story. It's more about the fact that there's a headline with a large politician going against crypto because of X, Y, and Z. Because you have to realize, there's 250 of us in here right now. And the 250 of us in here are the type of people that want to learn, that want to get better, that want to make money, that want to use crypto to make a better lives for ourselves, right? That's completely fair. But we are not the people that turn on the normal news in the morning. We're not we're people that like really want real information, and it's hard for us to watch the news because we know it's all bullshit. But, most Americans don't have the IQ that they need to have, and they will just, it's kind of like when you talk to your family members about crypto, and they'll just say like, oh, I saw on the news that like this one senator said only drug dealers use crypto. And that is like, I would say that is more America than most, unfortunately. So, I think it's our job to change the narrative. It's our job to tell the truth of the matter, and that, that you can be a good person and use crypto. You don't have to be a drug dealer. And it's just, that narrative pisses me off. And I just am accepting that now, because it's only going to be more and more and more and more as we get closer to the election. Joe said, just saying the coin is not spinning. That's funny about that. You said that, Joe, is that I don't know what's going on with it, because every day I'll give it a little, come on. No, I don't know. I think I need to start spinning it the other way, because it's not, most of the time it'll just spin forever. And some days I'll like give it a good spin and then it will stop. So I'm like, do I need to spin it the other way? I don't know what's going on with that thing. But it just broke now. Joe broke the coin, and now it's no, it's not the battery. It's plugged in. But shout out, RIP to the coin today. And that was an XRP coin on top of it. So, there we go. RIP, rip. All right. So let's keep rolling here. Then we'll take a look at some stories. And big shout out, there's 250 people in here. Make sure you smash the like button if you haven't already. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Definitely getting a lot done over here. Very excited to see, how everything rolls out this year. I got a lot planned, and I'm really grateful for all of you that are here. So big shout out to you guys. Thank you. All right, so Solana's Jupiter Dex sees 480 million in trading volume amid airdrop excitement. There has been a lot of news around Solana, a lot of news around meme coins on Solana, and a lot of airdrops on Solana. So definitely put your ear to the ground. Definitely go check out the Dex and everything else. I mean, there is a lot to it on Solana in terms of meme coins right now. So I'm not going to talk about any of them individually, but I will say that there is a lot of money to be made because there's so much excitement around the airdrops and everything like that. So definitely take a little gander over there and look at it yourself and just spend some time on the app. You know, like when it's like when you went to Coinbase for the first time, you took a minute to figure it out, or like when you played a video game for the first time, you don't just know how to play it. You have to like spend time in there and figure it out. That's what I'm telling you to do. There's a lot of stuff going on over there, but I don't specifically want to talk about like any single coin or any single thing. But I do want to say that there are a lot of opportunities over there, and it's definitely worth taking a look out. So big shout out to Solana and everything they're doing. They're definitely moving things along pretty well. And last story I want to get into before I go into the charts today is major Fed decision to affect crypto market in 2 days. All right, so the crypto market is bracing itself as the Federal Reserve gears up to announce its first interest rate decision of 2024. Big deal, everybody. Super big deal. The whispers from the CME about a 96.9 chance to keep interest rates unchanged are causing ripples, yet the second decision in March casting a 47% shadow and a rate cut by 25 basis points. Investors are on edge, adding to the economic fervor. The United States is set to release the January unemployment rate, which could further sway market sentiment. So yeah, definitely, we got some macro stuff coming down the pipe. They have been talking about interest slashes or interest cuts for quite a while now. There are a lot of people in crypto that, make the obvious connection. Well, if the dollar loses power, the markets will gain power. But then there's the Benjamin Cowens in crypto that say, well, just because there's an interest cut, that doesn't inherently mean we're guaranteed anything. Like, look at the macro and why we have to cut. So there's that argument too. But I am still based off charts. I will always kind of refer back to the DXY. The DXY is an extremely important chart, especially for crypto traders. And if you guys remember, when we drew these levels out live on the show, the dollar was actually over here. The dollar was over here. And since then, the dollar has gained strength. The dollar has been gaining strength. And remember, I said it, let's see if it gets rejected from this one, or if it gets rejected from this one, or if it continues, which is another possibility. So, we did immediately at first off on Thursday, we did get up and then get rejected from that first line, and then we kind of immediately bounce back up through that line, and now we're fighting at this one. This is the chart for the dollar, by the way. But if you zoom into say the 12-minute chart here, actually and kind of clear cut dry case of bearish divergence right there on the 12. So this is a little bit why I was kind of talking about in the beginning of the show, why I foresee a little pump, why I would kind of long Solana to 100, why I think there are definitely some scalp trades to be made, because the dollar is getting rejected from that support resistance line. And let's say it kind of bleeds down, then that would be really good. So definitely keep a close eye on the dollar, because I feel like when this turns around, so will crypto. They're not exactly correlated, but it's worth watching. I will never get on and say here, this is an exact correlation. Correlation is not causation. But, when the dollar tends to hit certain support resistance levels and reverse, we can kind of go back in history, and I can point out several times to you, if you looked at this on the dollar and then went long on that, you would have won. So it's worth keeping, and it's definitely pay attention to the dollar. Crushing. Eric said, crushing along right now. Thanks, AJ. I got you, bro. You're welcome. This is what we do. I got you guys. Well, yeah, that's Davenport. That's what I just said. The difference between correlation and direct causation. That's what I'm saying. There is no, that's what I'm saying. Like I would never ever say this is this exactly, but I will say that a lot of times, especially at certain support resistance levels, that when there's a rejection at the dollar on an SR level that I drew on this, I drew this a long time ago. It's actually all the way from back here. Okay. It's actually from this little previous high. And the fact that it's getting rejected there says a lot. And that's why I would totally feel comfortable going long, especially if the setup on the chart itself is good as well. All right, let's go over. Actually, before we look at Bitcoin, let's look at the S&P. Just like the dollar, the S&P isn't directly correlated to crypto, but I would say that there is some correlation. Okay, got you, Davenport. I saw something in the chat. Where did it go? Someone wanted TA for quant. Yeah, no problem. So yeah, so this is the S&P at the moment. Let me kind of zoom out here so you guys can see the big picture. Bang, bang, bang. So, this is kind of the overall. Actually, I need to zoom out even more so you can see the big picture. Sorry about that. Okay, so why was that there? All right, so, quick overview of the S&P, the top of the 2021, the top of the bull run, and the S&P is now exceeding that level. I thought that this was a trend line. It's actually just a brush line that I drew for some reason. That's why I got confused. This is it's going up, but on the 5-day, it is kind of forming this bearish div. I've been talking about that for a while, but it hasn't exactly played out because we are going above into all-time highs. Just for the sake of argument, I do want to see what it looks like on a normal RSI. RSI is approaching. Oops, I hate it when I leave the brush on, man. We're approaching overheated. We actually are overheated above the 70 on the RSI. Let's look at the daily. And if you look at the daily here, we do on the RSI and on Market Cipher B. If you want to get Market Cipher, my favorite indicator, make sure you click the link down below in the description. Shout out to my guy CryptoFace. But we do have bearish divergence playing out on the dollar on the daily chart on the S&P 500 with a red dot on the daily. So that's pretty big. But at the same time, the narrative is bullish because it has put in all-time highs. So I'm definitely kind of for the stock market. I would maybe be looking for a little dip down. I would like it to stay above that all-time high level, but really equally important to if it loses that, don't be alarmed as long as it bounces off those local highs to continue the uptrend. If it momentarily comes down, I'm not that concerned, but I would really, really, really like to see the S&P hold the bottom of those two lines right there. So definitely worth keeping an eye on that as well, especially if the dollar keeps coming down. If the dollar keeps coming down, the stock market's certainly going to keep moving. I would say there is much more of a correlation between the S&P and the dollar than crypto and the dollar, but it's still worth looking at. Okay, so here we are at Bitcoin. So a lot of the narrative last week let me get rid of some of these indicators so you guys can see a little bit better. Okay, so the thing is that this blue trend line, this downtrend here, these blue lines, okay, this was a lot of the talk of the town on this channel last week, is that at the time we were at a point where we were over here. We were below the blue line and below the support resistance level. And basically Bitcoin needed to break support resistance to break out of the local downtrend. To my surprise, Bitcoin did just that. I did say that I don't like to guess and to certainly set alarms on support resistance and on the trend line, which I did, and that alarm went off and my trades consequently did well. But I did guess that it would get rejected, and I guessed incorrectly, but I didn't trade off that guess. That guess was a guess, and this is why we set alarms. And when the alarms go off, we win trades. And so we can guess all we want, but it really doesn't matter because we trade off the alarms. We trade off our pivot points, and our pivot points are the signals that we set up for ourselves to help us be winning traders. You know what I mean? So that's worth talking about. Always is. And so let's go and kind of make these support resistance levels a little longer here. So, Bitcoin's actually looking pretty good right now. It's looking pretty good right now. It did have a little bear div on the 2-hour right here. But it came right down, and that it already got invalidated because it bounced off support resistance right there. So those things are not the end of the world, but it is always worth looking at them. So, now, it is actually sitting right around the point of control. When we're zoomed in, and now it's kind of I'm thinking to myself, whoa, what's kind of likely to happen here. I really like Bitcoin set up more on like the 6-hour. The 6-hour looks really good for Bitcoin, because it broke out of this little local downtrend. Step 1, step 2, we're kind of in the middle of this value area from over here. If you look at where the price is, kind of in the middle of that, and it's pushing up on the 6-hour and on the 6-hour chart on Bitcoin. We got a green dot on Market Cipher B, and we also know that we have volume up here. So I mean, I'm kind of thinking that Bitcoin has a pretty good chance to come up here and maybe retest, 46, 47, maybe even that 48 level. I think it's possible. I'm not saying today, I'm not saying it's just going to go straight up. I'm not saying this, but I'm saying that as long as it ranges here without losing 40, as long as we stay above 40, I think, the 46, 48 upside is certainly there. And then when we zoom in a little bit more and look at like a 45-minute chart, something to that effect, we really start to see a lot like we're in the green. We're moving up in the VWAP. I mean, things do look really good for Bitcoin right now. This is certainly what we want to see. And then if we kind of even zoom in a little further, say we look at like a 17-minute, we pull a normal RSI, relative strength index, and then you will see that, Bitcoin has been doing a really good job of staying, relatively above the 50 line. It has dipped below it before, and this is only a 17-minute chart, but this 17-minute chart kind of reeks of bullish continuation. Then we'll turn the EMAs back on for the sake of argument. Boom. So, and as long as I kind of feel like we're going to keep heading up, and awesome. So there's Bitcoin. I got a text message saying that I wasn't showing on the screen, but I had it. That's weird because I had that on there the whole time from my end. So sorry about that. Can you guys not see that? Because it was like that the whole time. Oh, the S&P tab was up. Okay, sorry guys. So yeah, so Bitcoin, from all I was saying is that Bitcoin looks really good. Bitcoin looks really good, especially the 6 hour. I never clicked the button from the S&P. I'm sorry. So Bitcoin looks really good on the 6 hour, and I'm really looking for it to maybe fight for like the 45. If you look at the support resistance levels right here, look at how many times this level has been hit. If we look at test, fight, loss, that level is big. That level is exactly 44,300. I think Bitcoin is going to fight for that level, and I think we are looking long. And sorry, I didn't change the chart. That is my bad. Shit happens. So I definitely wanted to look at Solana. A lot of people wanted to look at Solana. Solana also looks good, and I even changed the chart this time. Look at me go, learning every day, getting better. We're doing well. We're doing well. Glitter Queen saved the day. Shout out to the Glitter Queen. So this is another one that was really sitting at a previous support resistance level. I actually talked about this on my live stream. On one of my pre-recorded videos last week. I talked about this level right here. And Solana came down, fought this level, and bounced up. Okay, so last week it was over here bouncing off of this. And then if we look at, the kind of local downtrend Solana was in, we kind of come from the top of here, go through that. Oh, bam, breakout McGee. Let's go. Even if you want to, if you want to if you want to appreciate as a downtrend like that, or just look at it as as a triangle made from a support resistance from, this wick. If you want to look at this wick, this retest right here to draw the line across, that's a cut and dry breakout. So we do like to see that, especially on shorter time frames. And this is why I'm saying the push to 100 is already very likely. And to be fair with you, it's already at 99.63. It was 96 at the start of the show when I said long Solana to 100, and it's almost at 100. So shout out to anybody who made money on that trade. I gave you one. There you go. You're welcome. Looks good, man. It looks really good. And even when you zoom out and look at the 6 hour, I really have been looking at a little bit larger time frames lately, especially for my local scalps, because I feel a lot better when the larger time frames are pushing up. So what we're going to want to see from Solana is, first of all, this level here is basically a support resistance from, if you look at these tests right here, and then you look at this little fight right there, that level is pretty big to get over. For the record, that level is 101. I feel like if Solana goes over 101, I would feel safe longing it to, 110, 115, maybe to the test of the previous high. Let's consider the bull case here. Let's look at the previous local high and draw that line and realize that if it gets above, because if we look at this in terms of a value area, right? This little box right here, this box right here, how much time it spent in that little range, right? Solana was ranging, everybody. Solana was in this range, okay? And now we're going to do one of two things. We're going to hit this and we get rejected, or we're going to hit this and be in this range. You understand what I'm saying here? So if I were you and you already nailed that Solana trade to $100, Solana is officially over 100. We called a trade beginning of the show from 96 to 100. It happened during the show. Love you guys. We out here. Make sure you smash the subscribe button if you haven't already. But now what we want to do is we want to see Solana enter the new value area. And if it breaks, so you want to set an alarm at 101.03 is that level. Okay. If that alarm goes off and Solana breaks above this, I would go long and set my stop loss at probably $100.40. That's what I would do. And then kind of count on maybe a little bounce and then a push up eventually. It will take time, but I feel like that's a pretty solid intraday scalp type trade. And honestly, I would even be okay taking profits from, like, if you look at the top of this level here around 114, and that it fought over there before, because if you went long from, like, say, like 102 and bailed out at like 112, I mean, that's still about 10%. Yeah, if you go from 102.38 to 112.64, that's a 10% trade with 10x leverage from 102 to 112.6. That's a double up. All right. That's a double up. I think that if Solana breaks above this, it can get above that. There is volume up here, and it would be in this value area, not this value area. So at the moment, Solana still has to get above this range. This trade only works if we get above this range. If not, what we do is we watch it like a hawk and see if it gets rejected. That's an easy short. And in that case, I would short back to $94 or $96. In either one would work. So if say we get rejected, we'd probably enter around 98, and probably to 94 would be 4.8%, would be a 5% trade with 10x leverage. That's half. There you go. So you can trade this either way, but either way, you're going to have to be super patient. You're going to have to watch it like a hawk. But I'm actually looking for the upside here. This is why I will guess that it will break this and go up and maybe push 114. That's the guess, but that's not the reaction. The reaction is we set an alarm at 101.4. And once that alarm goes off, we watch it very closely and consider going long. That's the do's and don'ts there. So there you go. Good stuff. +1 for Kenan. AJ's TA is solid, man. Hey, thank you. Eddie C, you're the best, AJ. I made a quick 20%. Hey, guys, I got you. Don't worry. I got you always. All right, so let's go to Quant. I know someone wanted to look at Quant CA, and I have an alarm going off. Algo. Interesting. Oh, look at everybody. Remember how I said at the beginning of the show? That Algorand is kind of in this little triangle here. Let me zoom out so you can see it. Not that far out. This far out. So if you look at the fact that it's in this local downtrend, right? Local downtrend with the 16% support resistance level, and that it has to break out of this little fella here, right? Algorand, my alarm just went off. We zoom in. Look at that. Look at that movement. Look at that volume. Where's my profile at? Okay, it hasn't loaded up yet. There we go. So what I'm looking for here is I would certainly long Algorand, and I at least want to get to 17 cents. At least, because that level has been hard to get above, because just like similar here, let me zoom out for a second so I can show you this concept. Similar to the Solana chart, we want Algorand to be in this range. See how it ranged here? We want it to be in that range. And there's a lot of volume there. Look, that's where the point of control is. The point of control is all the way at 17.2. But right now, Algorand is in this range, right? We're still in this range. And although it broke out of the local trend line, which is fantastic, that's fantastic news, right? We want to see it break out of that local trend line, but we are still in that lower range. So with that being said, I would feel pretty comfortable longing algo from right here to at least here, which is still 1.5%, 10x leverage. Do the math. Pretty good trade. Or wait and see if it gets above this. If it gets above 17 cents, we're moving. If it gets above 17 cents, we're moving, but it still has to get to 17 cents. I would feel comfortable longing it here and setting a stop loss at 16.2. I would set a stop loss at 16.2 and long here, or wait to 17 and long to maybe even the top of this range here, long to 18. It'll be a 6% trade right there. So there you go. There you go. We're full of them. All right, we're going back to quant. Trading's a lot easier when things are actually moving. That's a part of it. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of times, people are trying to force trades when nothing's happening. Days like today is days we make money. Days like today are the very good trades. All right, so here's quant. Ooh, look at this, everybody. 2-minute chart. Very interesting. What do we got here? Let me zoom out to the daily. Okay, I see what happened here. All right, so just like Algorand, everybody. Just like Algorand. Local downtrend. Quant topped off right here. Christmas time. Christmas Day. The 23rd, actually. Should have sold. Christmas. We should have took our Christmas presents and we should have ran home. Should have gave Santa Claus his cookies and ran out of the house. That's what we all should have done. So local downtrend for quant. Local downtrend. And look, there is the point of intersection with the little local support resistance level there at 103. And, we were supposed to break out by Wednesday. We said that last week. But now if we kind of zoom in on, say, a 12-minute, similar to Algorand, everybody, quant is breaking out. Quant is breaking out. Hey, quant is breaking out. Boom. We're trading today, everybody. We are trading. We're getting involved. This is great. This is just great. So what we want to see, if I was trading this chart, which I might not because there's not a lot of volume with leverage trading quant. Quant is like a coin I'm holding for massive upside. I think quant getting to $1,000 is kind of like a minimum in my mind. But if we consider this 109 level here and how many times that level has been tested over and over and over, if you could find an exchange with volume on quant, I mean, there's a free 20% trade there if you 10x it. But I think that there's a lot of upside here for quant in the long run. I certainly would consider, even levels like that one from this previous floor. What I really want to see is, actually, let me draw that a little bit better. I want to see quant get above 110 because if you look at, this is a more relevant support resistance. This is just like the lowest one. Actually, I'm going to delete that one. That one's irrelevant. That is a local high, but it's not a big deal. The big deal on quant is this one here. That one. This one. Because it was a previous low and the high before, and that's at 110. So if we longed quant from, say, here to 110, that'd be about a 3% trade. But if quant gets above 110, really the sky's the limit. It gets above 110, that's when we start moving up here to like the 120, and that's where the real trade happens. So yeah, I think there's definitely something in the cards for quant here. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. I'm going to take a little peek back over at Solana. Share this tab instead. Yeah, she's moving. She's already moving almost to 101. Just ride it out. Ride it out. Move that stop loss up. Move that stop loss up. I would, probably go to 100.5, 100.6. And so if your trade sucks out, you win. You take those profits. If it goes back below $100.50, and if it doesn't go below that, you're still in the trade. You're still riding it up. And either way, if it closes, you're in profit. So don't be scared to move up that stop loss. No one ever went broke taking profits. So congratulations to anybody who got in that trade. I was glad that I was able to see that early in the show. And I really think, this is probably one of the best shows I've had in a while. I think I definitely need to spend like a couple extra hours in the morning really looking at charts before the show. Sometimes I'll look at the chart for the first time during the show because I know the setups in my head. But I think like when I spend extra time with them before the show, I see a lot more setups. And today is a good day to trade. There's a lot of volume, so it could be biased based off of that as well. We'll always consider that. But hey, I do really appreciate everybody here. We have about 300 people, just a little bit less than 300 people. My guy Rashid Ball Out wants me to look at SUI. I was gonna close the show 3 minutes early, but for you, Rashid, I will look at SEI. Why not? Wait, SUI. Excuse me, not SEI. I'm getting confused. They confuse me. SUI. Sui. Boom, boom. All right, let's look at the daily first. Holy shit. She moving. All right, if we go from, October to now, 300% pump, not bad. 12-hour. A little worried about bearish div, but I'm not as worried because there is a green dot, so it's still moving up on smaller time frames. But do keep that in mind on the 12-hour, just in terms of when it eventually turns around. 4-hour looks great. 4-hour looks really good, mainly because you got above this previous high. That's a very good sign. So, and that level is 145, basically 144.8. So we want, if we're longing this, that's the point where we sell. If you wanted to long it now, I would have my stop loss set at 144.5, because then that would be going below the previous low, and that's kind of like when we enter. If you want to consider, even though I know this chart's not doesn't have the most history. But if you want to consider this a range, and you want to consider this like discovery, right? So if we go back into this range, that's the price action for that range. And you can trade this range pretty well because, it's a 40% range, probably a little more than that because I drew it a little further down. But, on look at the 12-minute. 12-minute doesn't look half bad. A lot of, quick up. So you don't want to get caught if that wick pops back down. Even on a 5-minute, it came all the way to 155 and squeezed back to 152. It's definitely kind of scary to play this one on small time frames. For example, on the 2-minute, I would not long it this moment because you can easily lose 4% back down to 145. So, I would consider with this one, maybe being a little patient or maybe setting a buy order at like 148. 147, something like that, if you wanted to go into discovery, because what could happen is it could kind of come down and fight here and go up. I don't think it's just going to immediately climb. I think it's going to try to suck out the liquidity and scare people back into the range before. But you never know. I would like to see it. Obviously, I would set, if I wanted to buy this right now, I would set a buy order at say $148, $1.49. And then stop loss at 144, 143.5, something like that. That would be a little conservative, but I like conservative stop losses. I am totally fine with conservative stop losses because if you run conservative stop losses, you're really mitigating that risk. You're really saying, okay, I think this is about to happen, but if I'm wrong, I'll lose a couple $100. But when you have that stop loss set up, you don't really lose that much. And then if you can, refill that 100. 200 you lose every time and do the same trade over and over and over. You only have to be right one time. You know what I mean? Because if you get sucked out on a conservative loss, so what? You can take small losses all day, but when you win big. And that's the point. And yeah, man, my name's AJ Rich Crypto. I really appreciate you guys. Hope you guys had a good Monday morning hanging out with me. I really appreciate you being here. It's 300 people in the house. Make sure you smash the like button if you haven't already. I'd really, really appreciate it. Tomorrow, I'm going to try to make sure that coin behind me starts spinning. Me and that coin, we're going to have a conversation. We're going to have a talk. We're going to yap it out. But until then, I appreciate you guys, each and every one of you. Make sure you smash the like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Stay tuned later on today for that Algorand price prediction. My name's AJ Rich Crypto. Get rich or get wrecked. Later.